So I got this farm, this piece of old cane land in Onamea outside of Hilo. And when I purchased the land, it was been in sweet potato, commercial farming, sugarcane for 70 years. This much of the topsoil was gone, and it was there wasn't a worm on the property. It had just been poisoned. It was dead. Looked like it was napalm. There was nothing there. And my passion is growing kalo. I love growing kalo. I've been growing kalo for about 45 years. And so I started, plant my bananas, my kalo, and my cassava and stuff like that. And I couldn't get anything to grow. Everything was diseased. And I was bringing in mulch and buying all this organic fertilizer, and nothing was working. And I was getting really frustrated. And I heard about this current natural farming using the microorganisms. And I met Dr. Park, and there was only a few of us at the time, and we started experimenting with making these IMOs. And I had just started a good way to really test the truth of this mythology is that we had some flats of parsley and flats of poha berries. And half of them we did with organic mix, and the other half we put the IMO in it. We had made our first IMO, this about 8 years ago. And in 2 weeks, from 100 feet away, you knew which ones had the IMO. They were huge, green, full of roots. So I built a shed, and we immediately started making the IMO 3, the IMO 4, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. And it was 7 years ago, and I had a large kalo field, and it was all diseased. It had this mosaic disease, and I was pretty disappointed, very frustrated. And at that time, it was the 1st of November, and I just happened to have my first 1,000 pounds of IMO 4 sitting in the shed. And we had a big storm. And in the middle of the storm, the eye of the storm came, and it was like, how it is that the atmosphere is just crackling with energy and nitrogen. And I went up some helpers, and we laid out 500 pounds of the IMO 4 under the kalo and mulched it. And 2 weeks later, and at that time there wasn't a worm on this farm. You couldn't find it. We didn't have soil. We had dirt. It was like laundry detergent. It was lifeless. There was nothing to it. And 2 weeks later, I went back out on Thanksgiving morning, and I started pulling back the mulch, and it was just worms everywhere. I thought, wow, this is it. Because if you're farming worms, you're farming. Because it's the worms that do the farming. They bring so many benefits to the soil. And so basically, what we're practicing now is what I call biological farming. We're working with the microbes, we're working with the worms, we're working with the foundation of our life. And the plant life, it just comes right along. It's just like within our body, we have 4 tons, 7 trillion microbes in our gut. And that's how the nutrients from our food get into our blood. And it's the same thing with the soil. If you have an abundance of balanced biology in your soil with the microorganisms, you're going to have very healthy plants that are going to produce a lot of really good nutrition. So I haven't been down there to buy pallets of organic fertilizer now in 7 years. We just use IMOs and mulch and animal manures, and it works really good. It's very simple. And the beautiful thing about this is that it really, as Master Cho says, that you should approach your plants and your animals with parental love. And when you begin this type of farming, you really make a really strong connection to the natural process of the earth and how connected we are to nature and the miracle of this creation. And this here is such a blessing because it's here, you can do it. But what I try to tell everybody, that you come to these classes and you learn about this, you got to go home and do it. You can read about it, ain't going to do you any good until you start doing it yourself. And it's all quite simple. We have a website. My wife Jackie has a website, Kalapana Organics, And also, I think there are books here, and it's you make your rice and you put it out. You know, the protocol is there, and you make your IMO 1, you make your IMO 2, you make your IMO 3. That's what we're going to do today, and then you make your 4. And if you start from making your rice to when you get your IMO 4 bagged, it takes about 40 days, just a little over a month. And once you start using it, you're going to be very impressed. It's quite a wonderful thing how your plants respond so immediately. So what we're going to do is, like, we're going to use wheat mill run. Over in Asia, they use rice hull because it's available. And something about the rice has a
the rice bran. Yeah.
Rice bran. It has a miraculous.
Yeah. In Korea, they use rice bran more than mill run because they have more available in the rice bran. But here, I could not find rice bran unless you get from the California. So I decided to substitute something else. Basically it's a carbohydrate, right? So germs love the carbohydrate to eat, and then they multiply. So I got this mill run starting instead of the rice bran in Hawaii. And it's very successful. This works really well. The one problem now is that, you know, mill run, we used to have the mill run, the flour company in Honolulu. They rented the state land. The state closed that down, that factory. So we cannot buy this mill run in the state of Hawaii. So I just heard that Vincent, he's bringing from the mainland $600 per ton of the mill run. Well, even if it's $600, that's worth it because this really makes this difference. Basically, okay, we're going to teach how to make this one from number 3, number 4. Number 1 is the one that you collect this original microorganism in your place. And that what we usually do in Korea is that there's a small box like this, wooden box like this, and then you fill it out the cooked rice, dry cooked rice, not sticky kind rice. Dry cooked rice, you fill it out about 2/3 of this height, and then you just put it in here, and then you cover, breathable cover, not just tight. And so the microorganism, once they come inside, they have to breathe. So you fill it out about 2/3, 1/3 is air. That's the condition that a lot of fermentation happens the best way.
Brown rice or white rice?
Any rice okay, but white rice is cheaper than brown rice. So I like to have.
It seems to work better too. We use white rice. It seems to work better for some reason.
Yeah. So actually, cheaper the better, and it works better too. In fact, I was going to teach how to make this lactic acid bacterium. That's a probiotic. Yeah. It is a very, very good one. I'm going to teach how that works for the human being. Because it's just not only the plants. LAB is a very good probiotic. We're going to teach you sometime today if I have a time. Okay. So first step is to little box like this, and 2/3 of the dry cooked rice. White rice is okay, and then you cover some breathable cheesecloth or something, and then you can put, ideally if you have some rice straw, that would be the light, but it doesn't matter, just close that. And then you can put it, ideally the sweet area, which is, the bamboo tree. Bamboo tree underneath is very sweet. So you can put in the bamboo tree area. If there is some fallen leaves of the bamboo tree, that's a good area that a lot of microorganism is present. So you can put over there, then cover it up. And sometimes you might have to cover this one up Otherwise, some, mongoose or whatever will come after that. So it's cover it up, and usually tropical area like here, usually takes about 3 days. And then when you open it up, you can see almost like a cotton ball, cotton candy, like the. If it is mostly the gram-positive microorganism, then it's a little whitish, almost like a cotton candy. But if it is gram-negative kinds of the microorganism, they have a different color, like bluish, some blackish. If it's totally black, sometimes you might have to make another one. Yeah. So those are the only one. After you see this, the cotton candy-like, even if you see this very fluffy, soft-looking, but when you take it out, it's just thick, heavy lump. It's not just one piece is a whitish. It's a one lump. That's number one. You finished. I am a number one. You understand that now? Mm-hmm. So that's what you collected. Bamboo tree, okay. If you have a nice lawn like this one, you can just dig it down about this size. Then you take it out and you put it this one. Same thing, cover it up. Then that also can, collect that one, because there's a nice lawn means there is a lot of microorganism there too. So that's another easy place. If you go to the here Hawaiian Acres, and the people never went into that area. There's a lot of fallen leaves like that. Most likely that's a good place to put it on too. And so any place that you feel that people not, stepping all the time and things like that, then you can collect number one.
So a place that's like high natural composting kind of area you're looking for? Like a lot of leaf foliage, you were saying?
Leaf foliage, yeah, that's it.
Like
The chances are a lot of microorganism is there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other detail is you don't want it to get wet, and we get a lot of showers in Hawaii, so usually we have like a little hoop house with plastic, because if it gets wet, it's ruined. We also found that mango trees make excellent IMOs because they're very sweet. There's a lot of leaves, but you want to go basically where people haven't been. You want to try to find, and the healthier the tree that you look for in your gulch or your neighborhood, that's going to be the strongest because it has a good base of IMOs underneath it. And so yeah, that's just one little detail. Huh?
Does it need to be in the shade?
Yeah, it should be in the shade too. You don't want it in the sun. This whole process has to be in the shade because the ultraviolet light is
Killing them.
it will kill it. That's why when you put your IMOs out, you do it on a shady day, the end of the day, or you mulch it. You don't want anything being out in this bright sunshine.
Most of the microorganisms like the three conditions. Number one is they like the room temperature like we feel good, like 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature they like. If it's too cold, they don't like. And too hot, they die too. So the temperature is somewhere around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. That's number one. Number two, direct sunlight, they die. The Master Cho says 3:7 ratio. 7 light, 3 shade. What is that? Just covered area is like that. So they like shaded area, not the sunny area. Okay, so that's number two. And another thing is moisture. That's what we're going to mix with the moisture. They like somewhere around 60, 70% or 65% of moisture content. How do I measure? Oh, if you have a moisture measuring, you can do that. In practically speaking, we're going to demonstrate you. If you pour this water into that this mill run, and then you mix it, and then later on, you mix it, then you can have a little lump, right? You just have a lump over there, and then kind of squeeze it. If there's a water dropping, that's more than 70%. Okay? And if you squeeze it and leave it on, it spread, then that's less than 65%. So we wanted to have somewhere around in between, not crumbling, not leaking water, then that's about right. That's what we're going to make it now. Before do that, IMO 1, you have to make an IMO 2, right? All you have to do is the IMO 1 mix with the brown sugar. Mix with the brown sugar, same amount of this one, brown sugar. So 1-to-1 ratio, and you have a pan and just mix it. You can use your finger, okay. But when you put this rice first, do not use your finger, the hand, because your hands has some microorganism too, which you don't want to contaminate the thing. So if you make this IMO 1 with the dry cooked rice, use something else, not your hand. But after finish number 1, mix with the brown sugar, you can use your own hands, all right. And then about 10 days or 1 to 2 weeks, then this will become like this, IMO number 2.
So you got the IMO, after you mix with the brown sugar, you put it in the crock.
Yeah, put into the container. It can be, ideally, clay jar would be a good one. Korea is always use a clay jar. But here you don't have it, so if you have a glass jar or even plastic jar, and then use it. But if you have a white glass jar, or you might put it something to not to have a direct sunlight goes in. Okay. Okay. So IMO number 2, you can keep it almost forever, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So IMO number 2 is basically IMO number 1 plus brown sugar after mixing.
And at this point, this is about 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks, I think. And this actually, you could make, I don't know, man, you could make a couple tons
With that.
of IMO 4. This because we're just going to use like a little tablespoonful into this water.
Yeah.
So you want to keep.
But it's about 0.5% is ideally. So you can measure it. Is 2. This one is it 4 gallon? Yeah.
It's about 4 gallons.
4 gallon is about 16,000 cc's, right? 4 gallon. 1 gallon is how much? One gallon is 4 liter, right? 4 quarts. 1 quart is 1,000 milliliter, right? So 4,000 multiply the 4 gallon is what? 16,000, right? So if you have a 5%, about 45 cc or something, or 45 gram, it's 1.5 ounces. Okay, 1 ounce is 30 cc or 30 gram. So 45 is 1.5 ounces. You don't have to be really accurate. So about this much will be about 1.5 ounce or 45 gram. Okay, so you put it in here, then you just mix it. Then that's about 5% now.
It was fun, when I started doing this with Dr. Park, because as a doctor, we measure out our inputs. He would use a syringe. He'd measure everything perfect, right? And I'm just a farmer. I just grab things and throw it in and pour it in like that. And and nature is
that's
nice.
nature.
Master Joe was here, and we had a workshop, and we brought the whole workshop up to our farm, and I had the IMO 3 and the IMO 4 piles on the ground, and I had a shade cloth, plastic shade cloth over it, right? And Master Joe's daughter, they both speak Korean, so they had interpreters, and she was saying, "Oh, you shouldn't never put plastic on this, And Master Cho said something, and everybody started laughing because Dr. Park knew what he said. Master Cho says, "It's okay with his enthusiasm. It's all right." So, nature has a great love for itself and for everything that's going on and for us, and if we make little miscalculations, she takes care of it for us. The most important thing is the heart that you put into it is the most important thing, and the results are going to be more than you could expect. So.
Okay, so the number one, how to make it, right? Number two is all you have to do is mix with the 1-to-1 ratio of the brown sugar. Number three is going to be this one, Mill Run. This is a wheat brand we call Mill Run. And this one and this one, the goal is to make this one, as I said, moisture content 60-75%, which means you pour this, before you mix this.
Yeah, okay. So, like this much?
Yeah, right.
So we're going to put this much of the IMO 2 into the water.
To water.
John, there's a FPJ here you can use too.
Yeah, good idea.
Yep, we put in some.
Mix the brown sugar and the rice and make it like.
That already all mixed it already.
It's like rice and brown sugar, kind of. You don't have to mix it to make it look all like.
No,
What
you need,
consistency?
you put, like, it's really fun. You have your IMO 1, your IMO 2. I just do it on the table, put it in a bowl, and you knead it like bread. You mix it up real
You
good.
got to mix it all well.
And the sugar real well. It kind of has separated.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So this is a sweet potato FPJ. They're teaching how to make a SPJ there, but FPJ. But basically, we have a lot of inputs. When I make it, I use a little molasses, and I put in some spirulina, and I cheat a little. I put in a little fish amino acid.
That's fine.
Yeah, and it goes off really nice. But I'm kind of like Merlin. I'm just adding whatever I got on hand into it, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be feeding these guys, and so we're feeding them. And making your fermented plant juices, this whole process, it's kind of beautiful. There's a magic to this. So what we're doing is sweet potatoes, they grow rapidly. They can grow in the droughts. They can grow in the rain. They're very strong. And so we want to capture their strength, what they're all about. And plants grow at night. They don't grow during the day. Plant life grows at night. During the day, they're photosynthesizing. The sun, when the sun comes up in the morning, what that plant is all about, its mana, goes into the roots to hide from the UV light. So when the sun sets, all that energy comes back into the plant. It's in the tip of the plant's growing. So we go out at first light. You got about 45 minutes before the sun comes up from first light. And we'll go out, and you can use anything. We use hono, California grass, you get the sweet potatoes, anything that's grown on your farm that you have plenty of. You go out and you grab the tips, the first 6 inches or whatever. You break off all the tips to these plants. And what you just did was you captured the strength, the vitality, and the goodness of that plant. You just grabbed it. And then you bring it in and you chop it up and you layer brown sugar. And first time I did this, I couldn't believe it. We did the sweet potato, and we put a sweet potato leaf and a little layer of brown sugar, sweet potato leaf, a little layer of brown sugar, and we probably had a 5-gallon bucket full. We did it in a crock. It's good to use crocks, And so there was no liquid. I mean, it's just leaves and brown sugar. 5 days later, we got 2 gallons of this stuff here. The sugar has what they call
osmotic pressure,
and it
sucks out.
It sucks the juices out, right? And it smells really nice too.
It's sweet too.
The nice thing about natural farming is that everything you make, you don't have to worry about spilling on you. You don't have to worry about your animals. It's beneficial for all living things. And that's the beautiful thing about natural farming is that you're creating a world that you can be proud that your great-great-grandchildren are going to inherit it because you made it better for them. And that's the beautiful thing about natural farming is it just makes you feel better that you're doing something on this planet right, you know. And if we each do it one person at a time and we spread this message to our neighbors and people start doing it, we may be able to actually change things around. And things are starting to change, and we can be a part of that for the better through natural farming. So I'm going to pour a little of this in there. I just pour it in, you know, a little bit, you know, kind of like that. It doesn't take much.
But you know, you cannot pour the whole thing, because not only is too expensive, but also it's no good if it's too much stuff sweet.
Where's Jackie?
Generally speaking, we said 1 to 500 for this solution to add in this one. 1 to 500. So in other words, you get 16,000 cc's, you divide it into the 500. Then whatever that comes out, about 300 cc's, something like that, you add it. Then that's the right kind of ratio. Now, he said that this FPJ, fermented plant juice, you can use any kind except if you know the toxic, I mean, poison, you never should use that one. Okay, anything edible that grows very viciously, you know, very well, then that's the one that you go for. So do you know what the purslane?
Yeah, the purslane.
Yeah, purslane is a really, really good.
If you have purslane, you know what purslane is? It grows low to the ground, it has these beautiful, thick leaves like velvet. Everybody has it. It's kind of everywhere.
I think if we show the picture, then everybody recognizes.
It's a good one. Purslane is a good one to recognize. Master Cho says purslane is very important in your garden. We have purslane. If I find it anywhere, I'll pick it and I'll transplant it in the garden, because it promotes the growth of microorganisms. And Oprah Winfrey made it famous years ago. It has an amazing anti-carcinogenic compounds in it. You can take purslane and throw it on a concrete sidewalk, come back 2 weeks later, and it's still alive.
It has omega-3. Omega-3. You know, omega-3 is good for what? Heart, brain.
And I eat it. We have it in our garden. I put it in my smoothies. You know, we have, we basically live off the land. There's a lot of good things that are called weeds that people pull out and throw away and poison that are really good for you, like the amaranth and the purslane and
another one is the big leaves.
The what?
Another one is big leaves that grow under the banana tree or whatever, the papaya tree, purslane, and another one.
Well, we got the giant Jamaican amaranth, the Korean. We got the Korean.
What's it? The big leaves? No, not wide leaves.
What's that?
I'm just my mental block. No.
No.
He eats the one. He put it on the in your cut, huh? Comfrey.
Yeah.
Shoot. Comfrey is another very good one to make this fermented plant juice.
When you talk about taking the tips of the plant, how much of it is that?
Well,
6 inches?
well, Koreans use a lot of watercress.
Yeah, watercress.
Watercress is a very good one. They usually it's about 30 centimeter or 1 foot. They chop it and then you cut it. Yeah, so you know, if any portion of the plants is all edible and all, but you want to have a very strong. He said any good one, good one could be hormone. The plant have the hormone. They have some enzyme. All these are the goodies in there. So that's why they grow strong, without even the bug inhibits. So that's the kind that you want to go for it. But like it's well known that comfrey or purslane here everywhere, and then you can use plenty of juice coming out. So that's kind of you want to do that.
So I don't know if they explained, but plants generally grow at night.
Right.
So
He just
yeah,
mentioned
in the
it.
morning. So whatever that growing tip is, that's what you'll use for your FPJ.
Yeah, this tip is the strongest.
Wow. So we have a lot of different plant juices here that Drake brought in his basil leaf and flower plant juice.
Great.
Yeah, we'll use a little of this.
The strongest one.
Diversity good, having different plants,
Well,
changing the
I think
plants.
not necessarily you put 1,000 different kind here. You can put it 2, 3 different kinds. That's enough. Yeah.
Boy, this all smells drinkable. This is FPJ made from bananas.
And every natural farming input basically should be good for human consumption.
Actually, Korean farmers, when they get thirsty, they don't drink Coca-Cola. They drink FPJ. Diluted FPJ. That's good for your health. And I'm not against the Coca-Cola because I drink once in a while. But that's not the best for your body.
Sugar.
And this is the lacto made from the brown rice and sugar. You want to tell them about this?
That's it.
Lacto.
Lactic
Okay.
acid bacteria.
Oh, that takes a little time. I'm gonna explain lactic acid bacterium, how good your gastrointestinal system. Yeah, so I'll talk to everybody because that's your bonus to come into this seminar.
So we'll make this now. You're going to
Yeah.
tell them about that later, right? So, I don't know.
If you can, I want you to try practice. You come in here, mix together, and try to make a little lump. Ball, and then see whether
Yeah, I'll do it. That's the part. Hey, Connie, you want to splash it on? Well, so we got this tarp. It's going to be kind of a problem.
No,
Dig a pit in the center.
We do it from off the tarp.
Huh? Yeah,
what we-
hold that out of the way.
Dig a hole in this
oh, hold it. Okay,
all day.
yeah.
You want to splash it on, and I'll mix it up.
about the natural farming inputs, pretty much all of them need an aerobic environment to thrive.
So what?
Like not too wet, not too dry. Too wet will be anaerobic. And you'll see propagating a whole different set of bacteria and funguses than it stays anaerobic.
A little tricky on this tarp.
That's a wee bit.
Do you use like a cement mixer?
No.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to show you. This is a ball shape, okay? Ball shape,
On the ground.
but when I put that, can you see this breaking down? It's not 60% yet, okay?
You can use the front loader, that's for sure.
Right.
You said you want aerobic or anaerobic?
Aerobic.
I've done it a bunch with a cement mixer, and you've gotta. It's kind of tough.
Yeah, it does not work very well.
It's hard to not have it be real lumpy.
Okay. Now, here is the lump again. Now look at that. Go ahead. Can you see something? Water is dripping, yeah? This is more than 75%.
Even if it's a couple drops.
Well, yeah, it's even a couple, but if you squeeze more, it'll come more. See? So this is too much. You gotta mix more, okay? So idea is in between this one and so somewhere around 65 to 75% moisture. That's what it is. Then after you mix this one, you have to again pile up about 1 or 1.5 feet high under the shaded area. You have to mulch it. In other words, you have to cover it so no direct sunlight goes in there. And then you usually, it depends how hot the weather is, but somewhere around here takes about 5 days or 7 days. Yeah, 5 to 7 days is enough for the tropical area. if it's a cold area, like a Korea, sometimes it takes 1 week to get there. But once it's finished,
That's good.
you can see there's a whitish, like a, the white snow or whatever this covers there. That's what it looks like. One important thing, when you have this one under the shaded area, 1.5 feet with a mulching on top of it, and you next day you go down there, you stick your finger down into that, then, whoo, hot. That's too hot, then it's no good. You have to mix it again up and down. So you can cool down a little bit, and then you have to do it until everything is cooled down, which takes about 5 days to 7 days. So after once the temperature go down, then that's already ready. And then you see a lot of whitish fungal looking.
Keep it under 120
So it's just make it
degrees so that when
make a rectangle.
the finished product and you put it on the soil, you've cultivated those microorganisms that are used to this cooler heat. If it gets up to above 130 degrees, then you're going to have
You kill it.
a different microorganisms, ones that are not going to recognize the soil temperature as well.
Plus, a lot of them you kill.
Yeah, and you'll kill them.
So no matter where you put your hand in this pile, it's just perfect. And so at this point, so when you do this, you want to do it on the ground. You don't do it on plastic at home. I built a special shed. You want to do it on the dirt floor, out of the sun, out of the rain. And then we put it like a sheet or cloth, bamboo, something to cover it. You come back in 24 hours, it's going to be hot. You're going to put your hand in it, it's going to be hot. You don't want it to get over 132,
Right.
130. You might want to flip it over. I found.
Turn it?
Yeah, you turn
Yeah.
it. You'll probably turn it once or twice. But it's amazing. You come back in 24 hours and it's going to look like it snowed on it. It's going to be all white. There'll be a crust on the bottom, a crust on the top. You can mix it up and turn it and do it again. It takes anywhere from 5 to 7 days. And when it cools off, that's the completion of your IMO 3. And then you're ready to make IMO 4.
Yeah, after it cools down.
After it cools off, it's done. It takes 4 to 5 days, 6 days, But this is it. First time we did it, Dr. Park, you got this wet mill run. Like, wow, big deal. What's this? But you come back in 24 hours and it's all white and hot. It's beautiful. It's alchemy,
And even your IMO 1, the white rice in this box, when you pull it out of the forest after 3 days, the rice will be warm to the touch. And it'll usually dry out, look almost like tempeh.
That's like tempeh. Tempeh? It's like that. The rice is like solid. It's like a block. And it's all impregnated with the IMOs. And that's why you put it with the brown sugar, then it grows even more. You're taking millions and turning them into billions and trillions. It's pretty amazing.
So when we make fermented plant juice, we need 3 different kinds. For the one is for the vegetative growth, one for the changeover stage, which is flowering stage, and then fruiting stage. So we call it, instead fermented plant juice, fruiting stage, we use fermented fruit juice. You can use 3 different kind of fruit that time, ripe ones. But I'm doing fermented plant juice. The character you have to look for is the vigorous growing plant, like a sweet potato. You cannot kill this sweet potato. You harvest everything, it will start growing back. And then like watercress is another aggressive ones, and mugwort is another good one. You cannot kill mugwort. They use for medicine in Chinese. Like when you do acupuncture, they dry it and they use acupuncture point burning stuff. And then also when the woman gave a birth, they bathe it in mugwort. It regenerates new cell produce very fast. But this is the fast-growing plant, has a growing, very strong growing hormones. That's why we use. Also, if you look at it, this plant has a hardly bug attack. Yeah, so bug doesn't like this plant somehow. So that is good thing too. So when we make this fermented plant juice, we use equal amount of brown sugar. And then we chop it about 2 inches, whatnot. So when oh wow, what is that? Oh, wow, that's beautiful. What is that? It's butterfly? Wow, that's fabulous. I never seen this thing. Wow. Amazing. So actually when in the beginner I use just half gallon of jar, and then this one takes about 2 pounds of material actually, but then this one is light one, so it wouldn't take 2 pounds I think. But the equal amount of material and the brown sugar. So when I put it in, I layer it. First I toss some brown sugar and turn like this, and then it will start wilt. The liquid started to come out from the leaves. It's a osmotic pressure action is going on. Really soon. The one that I just made is going down. It's maybe it's like that. It's amazing how fast it's just. So when you use a leaf material, you need to pack it in like pack it like this.
Get the white mouth jar.
Yeah. So when you are doing good, get a 1 gallon jar, and then I layer it on top. After one layer of the leafy material, and then I layer with the brown sugar a little, and then pack it and put more green leaves. So when I collect this material, I collect early in the morning when morning dew is still on. Also in the morning, they have the most nutrient in their body. We are extracting all these minerals and microbes and lactic acid bacteria and yeast from their leaves. So we don't wash our material. When you wash away all those good microbes. So also we don't pick the material right after rain, because all those microbes is washed away. So we wait maybe one day, and then we start collecting again. The microbes are everywhere in the air, in your body and your guts, but they are very, very important ones. They survive.
Oh, tomorrow.
So Master Joe says something you don't see, like air and microbes, that's all the nutrients. And also have to have a good smells. Do not use bad smell stuff. So when you make a large quantity, it's easier when you let it turn like this. It will wilt more, yeah. And then you can put more stuff in the jar. So even this one, we put it all the way up, pack it up, and that's osmotic pressure makes it goes down like that. The liquid is already down there. And then I'm gonna layer it, and then actually we are fermenting for 1 week. Do not skip 1 week. You want them to ferment really, really well. And they turning into very mild alcohol. And the plant loves the mild alcohol. What is it? And then, see, it just keep going in. It's bottomless jar. And then you layer it with the sugar. But more sugar is better than less sugar. Yeah? So less sugar, if you put less sugar, you will see the some kind of a mold growing on top. Yeah, so when you see right away, you just add more sugar on top, then it will disappear those molds. But if it has a green mold, take away. You want if you're gonna keep the mold, keep the white ones.
Like a little more.
Yeah, just a little bit more. Wow, that's so beautiful.
Like take them back home.
Oh, going away.
Come back in here, baby.
Yeah, I think better to put it back. Poor thing. Just a little bit more, it will be done.
Kim, do you put the date on when you make these?
That one I already mixed, so I didn't put the date. I should have. But some farmer order from me, but they don't have time to make it. Yeah, so it's probably maybe a week ago. Probably I made that one. Yeah. So, okay, now you need to put extra sugar on top, and then you put a breathable paper material. Clean all this so the bug doesn't go in.
Something I found that's useful is exercise bands.
Exercise band?
You know, that you use for physical therapy. That really gets a nice tight. And then the bugs don't go in.
And then you need to write down what it is, always. And a red pen. Oh, thank you. So it's October 1st, 2015. Fermented plant juice, sweet potato. So October 7th, you need to extract this liquid. Yeah, and then you can discard this material, or you can use in the mulch, whatever. But juice, after you bottle it, you cannot close the lid tight. If you close the lid tight, the gas keep coming out. It's gonna explode. Really, it's not. I'm not kidding. It happened to me. It's a very dangerous thing. So always leave the lid untight. I mean, not close too tight. Yeah, so air can come out. So there's I think I had this is fermented plant juice, the finished product, and then this one I made with the noni, young noni, so you can use for flowering stage. Yeah.
The leaf part. Or you
The fruit. This one I made with the young fruit. Remember, young fruit, green fruit is for the flowering stage, and the flower you can use for flowering stage. So if the banana flower is good to use flowering stage, which and then this is a fermented plant juice, same way. And how you make equal amount of brown sugar, and then this one I'm not sure what I use. I use jabata kava or just 3 mixture of. I forgot to write down what it is. So very important to write what you use. So this one, when your fruit is starting to change color, the fruit change color from green to start showing yellow or whatever, then you start giving this one and make sweeter. Yeah, and then there's a mixture for fruiting stage is type 3. Yeah, this is the one. Has a the OHM brown rice vinegar, fermented plant juice, water soluble calcium, and then this one you have to add ocean water so you can make your fruit sweeter. About 3% sweeter. So when you use ocean water, it's a 1:30 ratio, and maybe 1 month before you harvest, and then 2 weeks before you harvest. Yeah. I'm going to teach you Oriental herb nutrient. We call it OHN. The OHN has 5 ingredients. The one is angelica, and the licorice. Licorice is like this. It's the root crop, yeah. And then cinnamon, and then ginger and garlic. And the angelica, licorice, cinnamon is dry ingredient. So we need to prepare first step to rehydrate. And then this garlic and the ginger is fresh ingredients. So we make it like how to make fermented plant juice. That's the first step for these two. So to rehydrate, in Korea we use rice wine, but we don't have rice wine here. We call it makgeolli. So dry ingredient, we put it on 1/3 of any jar. So you can use different size of jar, but the dry ingredient, you just put it loosely, 1/3 of this jar, like this. And then you fill it up, beer. We use beer instead of wine.
Any kind of beer?
And cheapest one you can find. So this one with the beer, we totally cover the dry ingredient, and then fill it up to half of the jar. And then we let it cover with breathable material. Let it sit 1 or 2 days for rehydrate. Yeah. So, when you pour the beer, it bubbles a lot, so you need to wait. And then this clear line, should go to half of this jar.
fresh beer, not stale beer.
Yeah, fresh beer. I hope so.
Makes a difference.
I have no idea. I'm not a drinker, so I don't know about the alcohol that much.
Well, stale beer wouldn't
bubble as much.
So it's is it part of the process?
Oh, yeah. That was a good idea. And then
It's mainly just rehydrating.
pour in the angle like this?
Yeah, almost like wine. If you turn them more, you pour them, then too much bubble.
Okay. So let's say this is 1 or 2 days we rehydrate. Finish rehydrate. We're pretending right now, yeah? But I need to pour a little bit more to make a half filled. And then when 1 or 2 days later, it's gonna expand. It's gonna fill up to here, this the dry material. And then second step is to ferment with brown sugar, to equal amount of brown sugar. So this material, beer and the dry material, to make a equal amount of brown sugar, when you put it equal amount of brown sugar, it will go up to 2/3 of this jar. That will tell you that you put equal amount of brown sugar. That way, without any scale, you know you put it in equal amount of brown sugar. Okay, let me pretend. This is 2 days old. So I'm going to put brown sugar, okay? Doesn't matter what brown sugar? Yeah, it doesn't matter. They have a dark brown and this one is light brown. If you have the wide mouth funnel, it will be so much easier. Maybe I use smaller one.
Oh gosh.
Thank you, Dana. Dana took my class 2 years ago, and she is thriving now with the natural farming, growing all kinds of stuff. And then the Angelica, when we mix, after all finished, this is the ready to extract. I brought it. We need to use 2 parts of Angelica, 1 part of licorice, 1 part of cinnamon, 1 part of garlic, 1 part of ginger. So you need to make 2 bottles of the Angelica. Yeah, that all those 5 ingredients is mixed up, equal amount. It makes a OHN. Like here, this one. I made it 2013, and then disease became a medicine. So it just stays a long time. It doesn't go bad. Actually, yeah, they call it tincture. Yeah, that's what we are doing with OHM.
So when you're filling one of these, this is just with one particular dry ingredient?
Yes, one particular. So when you're making this one, you need a 6 jar. Got 2 jar for Angelica, each jar for other 4 ingredients. Yeah. Just a little bit more.
Each ingredient is rehydrated the same way?
Yeah, only dry one. Dry ingredient is Angelica, licorice, and the cinnamon.
It'll still work with it like this.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, so this one filled equal amount of sugar. Even you can see it, you know, with this amount and this beer and the dry ingredient. It makes the equal amount go up to 2/3 of the jar. Yeah. Then you need to ferment for 1 week. Yeah, we gotta stir them up. But then, oh, she has everything. Okay, it's ohiastic. And then you stir them up.
You want to use wood, not metal?
Yeah, absolutely. Always use wood, no metal. Yeah.
So we've already let it sit here for a day or 2.
Yeah, we are pretending. This is. Yeah, it takes 3 months to finish this product. Yeah, and then you tie it with a breeder material.
Oh, you get it.
Yeah, you get.
You get the scissors. Something else I found that's good is the exercise bands. You get a nice tight seal. You know what I'm talking about, yeah?
Yeah, and then you need to write a date, yeah? October 1st, 2015, Angelica. So 1 week later,
Kim Chang secret recipe.
this empty space, we fermenting 1 week, yeah. Then this empty space, we add vodka, the 40% proof alcohol you can use. In Korea, they use soju. Yeah, but we don't have it, so Master Joe said, just use vodka. But when he go to other country, they just use whatever available in 40 volume, yeah? So I'm gonna pretend again. This is the, I don't have to. So this is 1 week fermentation. This one is, oh God, somebody open this for me. So we add vodka in there already, yeah? So empty space is filled with vodka. Then you need to close the lid. Otherwise, all the vodka is gonna be evaporate. Then every day for 2 weeks, you stir once, yeah? And then after 2 weeks, you extract 1/3 of liquid in a different jar. So you need actually this half-gallon jar makes about a little over 6 gallons of OHN. So each bottle you need about 2 gallons of the jar, 2 gallon size. Yeah. So we have to after 2 weeks you put in the. I show you. Oh, I need a strainer. I didn't have. Okay, let's just do this. I'm gonna just pretend. Yeah, pretend again.
I never bring my strainer.
Don't spill this one, it's expensive one. Okay, somebody hold this for me so I can use 2 hands.
And Angelica can be found where?
You can buy through the online organic herb. You can find it when you Google it. Okay, and then you refill with this empty space, 1/3 space, with vodka again.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks you are doing the same thing for 5 times.
It's a lot of vodka. 6 ingredients.
You probably spend about $200 after you finish.
Unless you make your own alcohol.
Yeah, unless you make your own alcohol. So this one is extract one, yeah, the Angelica. Always write down what it is, okay? Otherwise you're gonna be all mixed up. Even this one I have to. And then put it together like this. But this jar has to be double size or about 2 gallon jar is safer. Okay, so Angelica.
Every 2 weeks.
October 1st and 2015. So when you do this one, you need a calendar. So from this point, you need to make every 2 weeks extraction, OHN, extraction, every 2 weeks, you will make a 3 months. So when you extract all this one, each ingredient is here, right? And then you mix 2 parts of Angelica, 1 part of each ingredient makes OHN, this product. And this is a medicine. It makes your plant strong, grow strong. And this is essential mixture. We always use all the mixture. When we have a soil treatment or vegetative growth mixture or flowering mixture or fruiting stage mixture, we always use this one. And even when you're sick, like you have a catch cold, you consume this, so it will help you. It will take away your sickness. Especially when you don't have a strength, it will help you to bring back your strength back. That's why we use this one on our livestock and the plant. But you dilute with 1 to 1,000 ratio. So I don't know, you guys can remember this one. Oops, where is it? Yeah.
Every year they get a quarter stronger.
Yeah, and that's this is a preparation for the dry ingredient, yeah. And then now this is the fresh ingredient.
Can I ask one question about every 2 weeks?
Yes.
So we're letting the brew with the brown sugar go for 2 weeks, stirring once a day. And then once we
no, that's the third stage. After you add the, okay, first stage, rehydrate dry ingredient. Put beer up to half of the bottle. Second stage, put the equal amount of brown sugar. It will go up to the 2/3 of the jar. And then you put a paper and ferment 1 week. After 1 week, you add a vodka to the top. And then you need to stir every day for 2 weeks, once a day, in the morning. But then after you put a vodka in it, you need to close the lid. You cannot leave like this, yeah, because alcohol is gonna all evaporate, yeah. And then after 2 weeks, you extract, yeah, like this. And then after 2 weeks, you extract like this for 5 times. Then it's finished, that product for dry ingredient.
Then you compost what's left over after the last extract?
Or you can make a tea out of it. There's nothing to throw them away. It's better to make tea and you drink it, and then those material then you compost or feed your animal. They love it.
For that first extraction, are you still stirring every morning?
Oh yes.
For the whole 3 months?
Yes, 3 months, yes.
Since it's got a sealed lid on it, can you shake them or need to stir?
Some people shake still works, but because this is small jar, it works, but you cannot shake it, gallon or. When you're getting better, you're gonna use a bigger jar. This is a beginner's jar, yeah. But still, after you finish all these 5 ingredients, you will have over 6 gallons of OHN. Yeah. Because it takes so long, it's better to make, some last long time. So that's how we make deal with the dry ingredient. The fresh ingredient is first step. We just chop it. I forgot to bring my cutting knife. Oh, okay. You can chop it or you can pound it, either way.
Can we go grab one knife from the kitchen?
Here's a knife.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's just do, oh gosh. Yeah, I knew I'm gonna, yeah, you don't mind? Okay. So, I don't know who watched the fermented plant juice in the morning. We chop and then we mix with the brown sugar, and then we fill it, layer by layer. Fill it with this brown sugar and the ginger. We put it in, and then layer with the sugar, and then we keep doing the same thing. Fill it up to here, but the ginger has lots of liquid. Do not fill it up to top, just maybe to the neck, yeah, because this one will do the osmotic pressure, give lots of liquid, and then this jar is gonna go up to 2/3. And the one really important thing, when we put the sugar in this dry ingredient, the level goes up to 2/3. Yeah. When we make it, we line up all together, ginger and garlic, all these 6 bottles. Make sure everyone has a 2/3 of the jar line up equally. So when time to put vodka, every jar has a 1/3 of the same space. That's very important. So with a fresh ingredient, it's a similar like fermented plant juice, and then we fill it up. And then when this one goes to 2/3, then we add a vodka. And then after that, it's same thing. You stir every day for 2 weeks, and then you extract the liquid, and then you refill with the vodka on empty space, and then you stir 2 weeks again for 5 times.
Yeah, so we need at least 12 half-gallon jars, or 12 jars in order to do this.
Yes.
We've got 6 of the brewing.
Right.
And 6 of the extract.
Yeah. The extracting jar has to be at least 2 gallon. This is half gallon. So because after these things, after you extract, it's gonna come a 6 gallon or more. So each jar need to be about 2 gallon. Yeah.
Is it important to keep each extraction separate?
Yes, it's better. Yes, and then when you use it, how to mix is really, really easy. With any size of container, Angelica is a 2 times. So you put this one in 2, and then the other 1, 1, 1. Then that mixture is perfect because 2 times 2 part Angelica, the other is 1 part. That's how you mix. Yeah, after you finish. Yeah.
So you said that the dilution rate is 1 to 1,000, but
yes.
I hear that it also gets stronger with time.
Yes,
and
it's
so then how do you change your ratio going forward?
Well, you can maybe 1 year later you can use as a 1 to 500.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. But I just use same ratio. All the time. Yeah.
Even though it gets stronger every year.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you don't have to use 1 to 1,000 ratio because it's getting stronger. But you dilute with the 1,000 times the water. So, yeah, still you
drink or spray.
That's you using in the mixture, and then you can feed on our soil or spray foam. And when you use spray foam, is 10 times less water.
As well. And when we use this soil revitalized, most important is microorganism. Microorganism is the very essential matter in the soil. When you give this nutrients as a, say NPK chemical fertilizer, or you use organic fertilizer, you use what? Chicken manure. That's the organic fertilizer. Then if you give it to the ground, can they absorb right away? No. They have to breaking down. They have to decompose. And the smaller particles, just like we eat the meat and they break down by the intestinal system, finally they absorb by the amino acid. And just like that, they need to have somebody who does decompose. That's what the microorganism does. So IMO, or indigenous microorganism, means it's a microorganism, but indigenous means that's a local, your area, not outside. So although there's some EM, you heard that EM? What's the EM stand for? effective microorganism. Do you know where they're coming from? Usually from the laboratory. Yeah, it's a microorganism. It's a good microorganism, but it's made by the laboratory specific good guys only, not the bad guys. But if it's an indigenous microorganism, which means you collected your area that you're going to farm, that particular indigenous microorganism has their bad guys, their good guys. But they have lived in your area for thousands or millions years there. They live harmoniously there. So that's the guy who is the best for this condition. That's why we want to use the indigenous microorganism, not from outside the, EM is okay, it works good. But when somehow they meet with this IMO, indigenous microorganism, you put this EM from outside the laboratory organism, sometimes they may fight each other. Hey, where's this guy come from? Yeah? And then if this guy is strong, of course the IMO is going to be, hey, we go away or something. But generally, if you meet together, who is going to be win? IMO. Because I've been here for, zillions of years that I stay here, cold weather, wind, or, so I'm the winner. So if you have a choice, if you can use the IMO, that's a better choice in terms of supplying microorganism. So IMO is the very, very important. I told you already, first function of the IMO is the decomposition. Decomposition means breaking down with the smaller molecules so that it can be used by the root. Okay, so that is number one. Number two function of the IMO is we call the catalysis. Catalysis means, when we eat the meat, and they have to breaking down, yeah? If you breaking down process, if you scientifically describe, that means they have a chemical reaction from A to the B. So when the chemical reaction happens, A from B, you have to have a catalyst. Thank you. Catalyst enzyme you need. Yeah. If you have a catalytic enzyme, that chemical process happen really fast. IMO does that kind of function. So if you use IMO, one example of that is the David Wong's farm. They have what's the cheese? What's it? The plants that basil. Yeah, basil he raised in Hawaii. The Oahu used to take about 6 months from the very seed, first seed to first crop, and after that he cut it every 2 months. They cut it basil. But after he used this IMO, it only took 3 months to 4 months to start harvesting. So it shortened the crop time. Is it beneficial or is it harmful? It's beneficial, yeah, for the farmer's point of view. You make money fast, huh? So that's good. And then you cut it every 2 months. Now every month you cut it, and quality is very good. That's what the IMO does, because they have a catalytic enzyme function. So you get catalysis happen fast. So your chemical reaction develop fast, and then so that crops comes fast. So that's a good function. So catalytic function, catalysis, decomposition as a good benefit. Number third is a revitalization. Means that I can't remember the whole cycle, but IMO will bring some other small bugs, and then the small bugs bring the big bugs, and after that they have the earthworm comes. So earthworm is a very, very good farmer's aid. Do you know why? Because earthworm, if this weather is like this one, and then no moisture around here or water around here, the earthworm digging down look for the moisture. How deep? They can digging down 7 feet. So it's a huge. How deep can you till with the tractor? No, not 7 feet. 20 centimeter. Yeah, about 7 inches. That's all you can till with the, $3,000, $30,000 tiller machine or the tractor machine. But the earthworm can digging down for you 7 feet with no charge for the gasoline fee. So that's a good deal, right? So IMO4 has that kind of function, revitalization of this natural recycling, all this, the bugs or the animals. Number 4 is the suppression of the diseases. Suppression of the diseases. So this is a really good one. I think Alika, he told me, and I still remember, he put the taro. I'm not 100% accurate, but I definitely feel that about 30% less disease happen after the IMO spread. So IMO itself has a competitive ability to the bad germs, because you are very well established in your area. So if the bad guys comes in, hey, this is my area, so don't bother. And so that's kind of a result that you can see less disease in the plants. So you can see those 4 functions itself is a very beneficial effect of the plant, crop plant. So if you use this IMO for the soil revitalization, that is a good deal. I think IMO is a very, very good the substitute for the fertilizer or any kind of farming practice. On top of that, this IMO4 itself has about, if I remember correctly, about 90-95% moisture in there, which means even if you don't have enough rain, they can still survive there and function as the farmer's aid. So that's a very good information. Drought area, you still can do the good farming with the IMO4 benefit. Before I forget, this morning they mentioned about this charcoal. Charcoal is a very good one for the farming, or any kind of farming, especially natural farming, because they provide to this IMO 2 things. Number 1, they keep this moisture. Charcoal has the function of moisture, holding the moisture. And number 2 is that they give apartment housing for the IMO4. So I explained this morning in Mongolian desert, where there's nothing growing, Master Cho experiment about 100 tree seedling to see whether they can survive, grow, and he was successful 97%. How can he do that? And he just used his wisdom. The IMO4 loves that the charcoal because they can live there, and also their moisture's in there, so they supply this moisture. So he did a small piece like the pea, or the bean size charcoal, 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right in the center he put this seedling, the tree seedling, small one. And then, even though desert, every morning they have a morning dew comes down, right? That's the moisture. And so all this morning dew goes into this small piece of the bean size of charcoal, right? So charcoal has a moisture holding, and he put some IMO4 there. So this IMO4, they're working over there for the plant. That's the reason why he was successful to grow the things. Of course, other stuff too, but very essential success factor was the charcoal. He used it as a IMO housing. So anyway, so IMO is a good stuff for the soil itself. So, and when the master cho goes to somebody's plant, then some flower farm, things like that, it doesn't look very good. Then first thing he does is, can I pull this one out a little bit? And so, oh yeah, it's dying anyway. Then he just put take the whole thing out to see how the root system working. In a lot of time, the root system is the problem, not disease on top. See? That's a very important thing you have to understand. We have to make this soil system strong and livable or viable so that the root system goes down really nicely to suck all the nutrients. So that's a very important concept. Soil is very important. We have to revive the soil.
Dr. Kuhn Hui is a researcher with UH Manoa, and she's going to talk about her, natural farming and her research with natural farming. And please listen closely to what she has to share. She's a bright young mind and committed to her work. So please give a warm welcome to Dr. Kuhn Hui.
Thank you for including me in this great symposium. And thanks for staying for so late. And I will try not to be too long, although I have many slides to share with you. I started working on Korean natural farming since 2010 when I first attended Master Cho's seminar. And Mike DuPont had been asking me to check out the soil health related to this. I'm really a plant pathologist, nematologist, and now my position is sustainable pest management. So why am I included in this talk? And most of you here already practice Korean natural farming and you have more experience than me. I just have one skill that I have been using a lot. So I use nematode as a soil health indicator. So basically, I just rely on what the nematode tell me, and so you'll see the result from what the nematode is telling you. So, okay. So just a summary of what Korean natural farming basic principle is. It involves collecting and culturing the indigenous microorganism from your natural area close to your region and reintroduce them into your agricultural land that you have heard that we have been tilling and disturbing the soil, and all the soil food web have been disturbed. And so Adam Reed have been brief you on all this importance of soil health. And so the concept is using the IMO that you culture and then to enhance the soil nutrient cycling. And this is what I'm going to emphasize a lot throughout the talk here. Basically, you are recycling nutrients, all the crop residues from last season or any leaf litter that dropped down, and it's about recycling your soil nutrients. The IMO by itself is not sufficient. The amount that we put in is so little, which is great because conventional farming, you might hauling in 10 tons per acre of compost, and that's expensive to haul so heavy compost. But if you calculate what IMO you apply in the natural farming protocol, is less than half a ton or 1,300 pounds. So this is way less than the 10 tons that we have to apply as a compost. So you want to help the plant to produce healthy root system for efficient nutrient cycling. So the other part of what IMO do is to help your plant's roots to grow well with lots of mycorrhizae to absorb all the nutrients that are harder to absorb if you don't have a healthy root system. So this is the main concept. So nutrient extract from various fermented farm waste is the other part that you guys have been hearing about, how to make the foliar spray it weekly, and this is the only nutrients inputs from this practice. So the IMO is just to help the plants to grow better. So for a healthy soil nutrient cycling system, you have all the either crop residues, or you can add mulch to the soil surface, or it can be growing a cover crop. But all these nutrients is not readily available for the plant to uptake unless they are being partly decomposed by the fungus or bacteria, and then they will turn into inorganic form, and then this inorganic form will be available for the plant to uptake. But during the fungal or bacterial decomposition process, they also have to maintain some nutrients for themselves, so they will tie up some of the nutrients in the bacteria and fungi. So to better cycling them, you will have to have bigger soil fauna, bigger organism in the soil. They will eat the fungus and bacteria, and when they recycling out, then more nutrients will turn into inorganic form. So this is where my nematode come in handy. I have bacteria feeding nematode that feed on bacteria, fungal feeding nematode feed on fungi, and we also have bigger nematodes like omnivores and predatory nematodes that recycling more nutrients that was tying up on the smaller nematodes. When this happens, then you have a good soil nutrient cycling, a better soil food web, and that's what we want to have, a healthy soil health system. But all this nutrient cycling would not happen if you don't have any organic matter for it to recycling. So this explains why sometimes Korean natural farming works very well in one area, sometimes it is not. And so it all depends on what kind of nutrient is available for it to cycle. So you have crop residues is one type of nutrient that it can cycle out, but it all depends on what kind of material available in your area. But not all material are easily decomposed by bacteria, fungi, and so that play a role. So I've been, during this last 5 years since 2010, I have different people contacted me to test whether it's working or not is in this area or others. So I have more than 10 field trials. 7 of them mostly are comparing if Korean natural farming is better than organic farming, or is it better than conventional farming. Some of them I actually test with or without the mulching, how important it is to have the mulch while you're practicing the natural farming. So not just IMO by itself, whether we should have the mulch or not is what we were testing. In one field trial, I actually compare IMO to other commercial soil inoculant, but some field trial totally failed because it's not magic, and if we didn't do other things right, it just doesn't work out. So I give only a few examples of what I did. So I list down what crop they use, and mainly I want you to focus on what mulch is used in this different system. So the first example was this farmer, she grew sunham cover crop for 2 months, and then she did a no-till, which is, so when Adam Reed was telling you the 4 concept of NRCS promoted how to maintain soil health. The first 2 is you have to keep your soil covered all the time. So this is where the Korean natural farming are telling you to use mulching along with your IMO. Block the sunlight from burning out your IMO after you introduce it. The other part is natural farming actually also highly encourage you practice no-till as much as possible, especially after you apply your IMO 4. So natural farming are quite compatible with all the soil health, for principle of soil health maintenance. So in this first farm, so after she grow the soybean, subsequent to the sunham cover crop, so this is the different soybean green color you can see here. Just visually you can tell it's different. And you can see this is a Korean natural farming plots over here is darker than the one at the conventional. obviously her farm, the natural farming works very well in her farm situation. And so I measured the soybean biomass. The dark one is Korean natural farming, higher yield than the conventional. So she was using ammonia as a synthetic fertilizer in a conventional. Chlorophyll content, so we actually not just rely on eye measurement, but we measure it with a meter that measure the chlorophyll content darker in the Korean natural farming, and even the nitrogen content in the leaves was higher. So it works. And so using nematode as an indicator, it also works. So we want all the beneficial bacteria, beneficial nematodes to be high. So bacterial walls is higher, fungi walls is higher. Omnivores, when I mark this, is statistically significant. So they actually increase the omnivores and predatory nematodes. Nothing in the conventional in the first year. And I was surprised by this because when I do conservation practice with cover crops, so I do lots of cover crop projects, I won't see significant increase of predatory nematodes usually until second cycle because it takes time for them to build up. But it speeds up the soil food web build-up process by introducing IMO, indigenous microorganism. The other thing I consistently observe is that whenever you introduce IMO, you will improve your soil tilt. Soil tilt means how soft your soil is. So we have a compaction meter that looks like this to poke it down the soil after the IMO treatment to check how deep the soil probe can go through. So this is this measurement here. Soil depth is much deeper in the Korean natural farming versus conventional. And I also, while I'm extracting the nematode from the soil, I also see other soil fauna that come out. So one of them is the enchytrid worm. This is a little cousin of earthworm. So you don't always see earthworm after disturbing the soil for a long time, but enchytrid worm tends to be more commonly found, and it was much higher in the Korean natural farming. So this is from a farm that it works very well. So the second farm using wood chips. And I have to say, yield-wise, we don't see difference, and the nematode community is also not too different. But again, we see a same trend in terms of the earthworm and enchytrid worms is much higher in the Korean natural farming. So bear in mind that this was wood chip. Wood chips is much harder to decompose compared to a cover crop, especially like sunham that has high nitrogen content. From the soil compaction, so this is from a third farm. This is actually a permaculture farm from La Akia in Puna area. Very healthy soil already, so can the IMO further improve it? When they try IMO 4, they didn't see any improvement in yield, but they have to use the IMO 5, which means that you add animal manure to it. And they did see an improvement in yield of the leek, burdock. Okay, so you can see there are very inconsistent results. So I'm trying to see if there's a pattern here. So I come back to Oahu. This is Windward Community College. They have a nice nursing program where they train the in-training nurse to grow produce organically to serve their client. So they're healthy food, you'll be a healthy patient. So Jamie Boyd is who I work with. So this is the IMO tree that I made. They open up, very healthy. So they did invited Joe and G to come and give them a 4-week course. So they were trained intensively. So properly trained. So we did a cherry tomato trial where they grow Korean natural farming versus organic farming and conventional farming system. So the mulch they use is mini huni Hawaiian earth product composted material that we can buy in Oahu. So yard raised compost is what they use. So they have Korean natural farming versus organic greenhouse. Hawaiian come to their farm and make vermicompost for them, and they collect the worm casting, prepare the soil amendment, and then weekly drenching of vermicompost tea. conventional system is they just use a 16-16-16 soil drenching every week. And so I just let the student do all the measurement for me. I only read the nematodes, and they tell me the earlier measurement at 6 weeks after planting, KNF tends to be slightly slower than the other treatments. And then later on, I come at 3 months after planting, I measure the plant growth again. So the conventional and organic somehow are very susceptible to septorial leaf spot as well as alternaria early blight. So they were declined already. While this is flushing and loss of fruit. Throughout this whole period, the student also harvests all the fruit for me, keep track on which treatment it come from. So we have yield data to compare. And at 3 months, I also measure the chlorophyll content. Again, KNF works organic, especially at 2 months after planting. No, this is 4 months after planting. So significantly difference between Korean natural farming, especially to the conventional treatment. Stem diameter, this indicate the plant growth is also having same trend. Not too much at the beginning, but more significant towards the end. Soil depth, again, significantly different. This is again enchytrate worms, or they probably have earthworm also. So the main purpose is so that the client will have healthier, higher nutrition food for the patient. So I submit all this fruit that they harvest to another scientist in CTAR, Dr. Bingham, JP Bingham. He has HPLC machine that can measure the vitamin content in the fruits. Unfortunately, we didn't really see better nutrient content in Korean nature farming. But I have to say the fruit size is big different. Good size tomato in the Korean nature farming versus a tiny bit of fruit. So it might be all concentrated nutrient-wise. So it did not result in higher tomato fruit quality. The conventional farming method produced tomato with highest amount of vitamin C, which is in the egg, and B, lycopene is another nutrient content. I also submit a sample to our ADSC to do all the mineral nutrient tests, and looks like organic has lots of the highest nutrient content, but the fruit size is also relatively small, but yield-wise is just higher in the Korean natural farming. Brix test is actually intermediate for the Korean natural farming, bigger in the conventional system. Brix is the sugar content test. So just one trial probably need to be replicated, and maybe different handler might be different, so need to be tested more frequently. So then Maui, Robin Shimabuku also asked me to conduct a trial over there in Kula Station. And I just give them the protocol, and the farm crew carried out the whole process. And they have lots of bamboo trees collection in that Kula Station. So I thought, oh good, this is a good mulch material since we like to grow our IMO under the bamboo tree. So I tell them just use bamboo leaves as a mulch. That was one big mistake I did. So, so lots of leaves under the mulch. And I even look up literature. There was one publication from India that looked at what kind of fungus from bamboo needles. So they found all kind of fungus. Right? Yeah, you can even look it up, biodiversity 14, and lots of saprophytic fungi, which is some of this could be the white mold that we saw from the IMO. So it shouldn't be bad using bamboo mulch. So they give me a field plot that was fallow for a long time. They were all boxes before, but nothing was growing. It was just bare fallow. They will keep the weed control very well. So 10 years later, here we start an experiment. So I planted 3 replication of each treatment, conventional, organic, and KNF. And in the KNF, I will use the bamboo mulch. And So since I let them do everything, they also say, okay, we'll compare. Most standard practice we'll always drench the seedling with some fertilizer before they put it into the ground. But KNF doesn't have drenching of fertilizer at the seedling stage, except the SES that was right before planting. So seedling was so small, and you can see after planting, you can see the conventional and organic, but you can't see the seedling, but it's planted in the KNF practice. So they were started much slower. So then we plant zucchini. Second year, we plant tomato. Okay. So this is how it looks at harvest, termination of harvesting time, 2.5 months later. So doesn't seem too different, but the yield data is significantly lower in the Korean natural farming. And so this is why there's something different between the treatments. So damage-wise, less fruit, less damage, which doesn't really bother the plants. Same thing in tomato. So all were no seedling drench with fertilizer for KNF, but seedling were all fertilized early on. Couldn't catch up. So you might say that, okay, let's just keep harvesting the KNF further so that we can complement the time lapse. But they have severe fruit fly problem. So if you left your field too long, if you let your crop growing there for long, the fruit fly find your fruit already. Even you want to harvest much longer, you will have loss of unmarketable fruit. So chlorophyll content was still slightly higher in the Korean natural farming. Plant height was not, so because they were started slower. And the stem diameter is also not good in the Korean natural farming. So it was slow to begin with, lack of seedling treatment, delayed the crop development. Plants were greener in the Korean natural farming at the end of the trial. After 2 months of growth, fruit flies and pickleworm damage were already very severe. So extending the harvesting time will only lead to more unmarketable fruit. So I would say that if there's something to improve on the natural farming, maybe we want to somehow give some nutrient to the seedling to let it have an early start to reduce the time exposure for the pests in the harvesting season. Soil health-wise, the first trial, this field was definitely very poor to begin with. I didn't even have predatory nematodes in year 1, but all of them are like that, no significant difference. But natural farming tends to have more bacterial decomposition, so more bacteria-feeding nematodes to begin with. But soil health, like I say, is always consistently happen. Soil health is good, probably due to the enchytrate worm. The field plot was fallow for a long time without much crop residue prior to the experiment. So IMO couldn't work because they don't have any nutrient to recycle. So overall nematode abundance was very low in trial 1, indicating that this was starting with a very stressful soil condition. And the natural farming result in higher percentage of bacterial worse nematode, indicating that more enriched soil food web and can have also improved the soil tilth within 1 cropping cycle, which is good. So this is just same data, same trial, just this is percentage, significantly higher in KNF for bacteria feeding. So second year, everything is improved when you keep growing crops, keep nutrient cycling happen, soil beneficial nematodes will be coming out. So still bacterial was, even organic was pretty high, but nothing really significantly different. But there was an indication here that predatory nematode was slightly higher in the Korean natural farming. But regardless of soil treatment, soil health is better in trial 2 than in trial 1. So if we keep doing in the same field plot, we might see something better. So bamboo mulch is probably not a good mulch to use. So it's all lignified, all high cellulose, very difficult to break down for the IMO to work in 1 or 2 cycle. And so then let's pay more attention to the mulch. So I do a trial. This is actually from Waianae, from David Wong's, and he asked me to go visit his farm once in a while, and I collected different type of sample. This is 6 months with mulch, and he used the Hawaiian herb product compost, yard waste compost as a mulch. And I will, when I take sample from his this field, I have to be very careful because every now and then I dig the soil, I will find the earthworm and just loaded of them after he has been mulching them and all treated with IMO. So all this has IMO, but without the mulch, way less compared to the one that has mulch. So it's not just IMO that is working. It has to have mulching material to help it to build the soil health condition. So the effect of Korean natural farming is strongly affected by the mulch type, and mulch use was the yard raised compost that is easier to, it's already partially decomposed, easy for the microorganism to work on compared to the bamboo mulch material. So this is a trial I did in Pomoho back in Oahu. So I compared no-till sunham with the till wheat method. Both has either Korean natural farming or just conventional. My conventional here is actually organic fertilized plot. So it should be organic versus Korean natural farming, but with sunham mulch or with wheat mat. So wheat mat will not have any organic mulch. It's just cover, but it still follow the principle that Master Cho recommend you want to block the sunlight from burning off the IMO. And so organic fertilizer was chicken pellet, 180 pounds of nitrogen. And for the sunham, I even use roller crimper. So this is like organic no-till practice equipment that you can roll down and crimp down the sunham and generate thick biomass. So I think I accumulated 10 to 12 tons of sunham biomass per acre during summertime. 14.7 tons per acre of sunham biomass. So sunham material, and so this is the stem diameter. So at the beginning, it doesn't, this is the one that we like, Korean natural farming with sunham no-till practice versus a conventional, which is the chicken manure fertilizer with the wheat mat. So this is the highest inputs. You would expect them to be, should have more yield. So initially, Korean natural farming didn't match up with the conventional with wheat mat, but slowly, this is 3 months after planting, so it's just as good as the highest organic fertilizer and wheat mat inputs. So this is the Korean natural farming, a cherry tomato growth. Chlorophyll content also as high as the highest inputs. So it's telling you that you don't have to add fertilizer, you will still yield as good as the conventional fertilizer inputs. Tomato yield, when I have AB, is slightly lower, but it's actually pretty much the same. Statistically not different from the organic and wheat mat, but look at the Korean natural farming with the wheat mat that doesn't have organic mulch, is not good. So they need something to recycle. So tomato yield in Korean natural farming with sunham was comparable to using organic fertilizer and wheat mat, and can have worked better if integrated with a no-till organic mulching system. So you kind of see a trend now, you need to feed the soil. But one thing I noticed is we also think that Korean natural farming will end up having healthier plants and should be able to resist loss of pests and pathogen. But it's not a silver bullet. If there are really bad pests in your field, you have to somehow manage it with other pest management approach. Don't just rely on Korean natural farming to repel all the pests. And so we have lots of plant parasitic nematodes in the field site. And we see that sunham is known to produce allelopathic compound against the plant parasitic nematodes. So the Korean natural farming will suppress the reniform nematodes if you have sunham. So triangle with solid lime will always have lower nematodes than the Korean natural farming with the wheat mat. So whenever you have sunham, you will have lower plant parasitic nematodes. So just to show you that you need some other tools besides Korean natural farming if you have to deal with pests. So just overall summary here, considering the amount of compost that recommended by the Master Cho Korean natural farming at 30 pounds of IMO with over 1,000 square feet. Literally, this is like 0.65 tons per acre. The practice of natural farming is very feasible and very economical compared to other organic farming practice that need higher tonnage of compost. Natural farming practitioners should consult experienced or certified natural farm instructor to conduct the natural farming properly. So if you face some challenge, talk to those successful farmers. And I just heard David Wong, Chris Trump, and John was talking about they will never go back to doing conventional farming again after they figure out how to make the natural farming works. So natural farming will include not only inoculating the soil with IMO4, but also prepare IMO4 regionally using field soil, and you have to mulch and reduce the tillage as much as possible, and you have to do foliar spray that provide additional nutrient that is needed for the plant to grow. However, inconsistent result in producing comparable yield to the standard farming practice, either organic or the conventional practice, it still occurs despite a proper procedure, and I think it is all due to the mulch. So this brought our attention to the basic concept of natural farming, that we have to recycle the farm waste. It's not just rely on nutrients from the IMO4. Natural farming should be conducted in area with sufficient crop residues available from the previous crop. Or it can be, if you don't have, this is the first cycle you're growing the crop, maybe you can start with a cover crop before you go into your crop production. My other projects are cover crop calculator, and I consistently see those big inputs of nitrogen from lots of leguminous cover crop. And so that can be incorporated into natural farming. If crop residues is not readily available from the previous season, careful selection of mulching material like the Hawaiian Oak product or other compost. Chris Robb was using his ground up macadamia nut husk, all works. So IMO4 is prepared through mesophilic composting process. Mesophilic means it is a composting process that doesn't allow it to go to high temperature. Conventional thermophilic composting temperature will go up 130 Fahrenheit or higher, and that kills off lots of beneficial organisms also. The natural farming, they say keep your temperature low. If it's too hot, you turn it so that it doesn't burn off all the beneficial. In that condition, similar to vermicompost, which is also a mesophilic decomposition, you will have higher bacteria abundance than the thermophilic composting. So this will better preserve and culture your indigenous microorganism associated with the compost. It is not meant to be the compost is not meant to be a nutrient source. It's just to introduce the indigenous microorganism to recycle the nutrients. So while proper practice of the natural farming could improve plant health, it is also not a total guarantee of no pest problem. Main approach to manage the crop pests, you should still practice other method of integrated pest management. Nutrients inputs to enhance seedling growth could speed up the transplant growth, so this can also reduce the time of exposing to lots of pests out in the field. And in general, as a good food producer, we want to also follow good pest management practices that could comply with food safety as much as possible. This will make natural farming more competitive with everything that is going outside. So with that, that's all I need to say. And there are lots of people involved in this project over the years. And again, I've worked closely with Ted Radovich and Jerry Sugano, extension agent in Oahu. So the project was first funded by NRCS in first year, but it seems like after the first year, I continue to have requests to do more research on it. So, and with that, okay, that's all.
Mahalo nui loa for watching Na Leo TV.